What's going on, Traders Hub family, and welcome back to another dose of the daily market analysis. I'm here with another action-packed episode because today was absolutely wild. We've got the S&P 500 hitting another record high, MongoDB, which absolutely exploded nearly 38%, and President Trump still stirring up some drama with the Fed. Oh, and let's not forget, Nvidia just dropped earnings after the bell, and the reaction might surprise you. Stick with me because we're breaking down today's biggest winners and losers, what happened after hours, and the key catalysts that could move your portfolio tomorrow and Friday. Let's dive in. All right, traders, let's go ahead and start with the big picture. Despite with the political noise, the market decided to party like it's 1999. Allow it, fam. Allow it. Here's your party like it's 1999. I don't know why I said that, but here's your market scorecard for today. The S&P 500 climbed 0.24% to a new fresh record. It was 6481 earlier, 6488 right now, and that's the 45th record this year. 45th record this year. Considering where we're going the first half of the year, who would have known? Some of us guessed it, but we're in a new day and age right now. The Nasdaq gained 0.21%, and the Dow was your best performer with 0.32% up to around 45,565. Now here's what really drove today's action. Energy stocks. They were on fire, up around 1.15% after crude inventories dropped big time. Tech stayed strong with 0.48%, and keeping that AI momentum going is still alive, and industrials and gaming stocks also crushed it today. But here's the kicker though. Advancers beat decliners 22-1 with 28 new highs and only one new low. That's crazy. That's what we call broad-based strength. Now the bottom line, traders completely ignored what's going on with the political drama and focused on what really matters. Earnings, the oil inventories, and those sweet, dovish Fed comments that were made and that kept the bond yields falling. If we move into the top movers and some of the catalysts today, these are stocks that made millionaires and broke hearts today. A lot of people made money off of these. We're going to start with the biggest winners, and these stocks were unstoppable. MongoDB is one of them. Let's take a look at MongoDB. As you can see, this rip right here and then continuation during the day, it went up 38%. 38%. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Shooting from 214 all the way to 253. Brilliant. Ridiculously high. And it demolished its earnings. And they crushed revenue expectations and raised guidance. If you've been sleeping on the cloud database plays, this is a wake-up call because they're not as volatile and moving. But in regards to these earnings plays, it's definitely one of the earnings plays which, if people put in money on here, there were 1,000% moves on the options chain. And then we have Kohl's, which we talked about yesterday. Nice. KSS. As you can see, Kohl's also had a pretty impressive earnings where they also surged about 24% today after beating their earnings. And that just shows that retail is still available to make money, even though the asset itself is relatively cheap. This is where you really can find some cheap calls and potentially puts if you're playing that way, but cheap calls to make some decent money and a decent percentage change off of that as well. We also had this one. I did not look at this at all today, but it came through Albemarle, and that jumped 7.5% on a UBS upgrade. They're betting big on long-term lithium demand, and with the EV revolution, this could be just the beginning. So this could be a watch in regards to continuation and moves moving forward. But this looked to do good today. Pretty good push up, but I didn't personally look at this stock today. The gaming stocks did pretty all right as well. We had Wynn Resorts and Piers, which popped 3.5%. And also Boeing, which we talked about yesterday, climbed another 33.5% with that continuation from the Korean Air bid that came in on the order. That's like real money, real constructs, real momentum. And like we talked about it yesterday, be on the lookout for Boeing, because this just might be the beginning moving into end of year. Now for the losers. The losers. Is that how he says it? Losers. If you get it, you get it. Paramount dropped 6.5% today. You can take a look at Para. Okay, so Para is not loading, but we'll show that. It dropped 6.5% after Morgan Stanley cut their price percentages, and the streaming wars are brutal. Not a lot of people. I personally don't use Paramount, but I know that they've been trying to push into that streaming service, and they've been getting more focus on the sports centers. I know there are a few soccer games which I can't watch because I have to get a subscription, and I already got too many of them. So Paramount dropped 6.5% off of that Morgan Stanley cut, and then we have SBA Communications, which fell 4.9% on Bank of America's downgrade as well. Now, here's the big story that everyone's talking about, though. There's still the continuation of that attempt to fire Lisa Cook. Now, this is still raising questions about the Fed independence, but the markets didn't panic. But this is still something that we should watch closely, as it can, as we've seen recently, bleed into the market, policy affecting market. Meanwhile, the New York Fed President John Williams did say that rates need to come down, but they want more data before September. Translation, they're being cautious, but cuts are coming. Now let's talk about the after hours today. All right, here's where things got really, really interesting. Nvidia. We talked about Nvidia yesterday. And as you can see right here is around the time when the market closed. We saw a little surge upwards, and then this incredible tank down during earnings. Now, this was the stock that everyone was waiting for, and they absolutely crushed their earnings though. They had 46.74 billion revenue. They had 41.1 billion from data centers alone, and they guided for 54 billion next quarter. And they also announced a $60 billion share buyback. And these are all beats. For the most part, they beat in everything. I think the data centers were the only slight miss, but it was a miss by about $100 million. But here's the plot twist. The stock, as you can see, is currently down about 2% after hours. Why? My theory, profit taking. When you've run up this much, even with a great earnings, that can still trigger sales. A lot of people, there is this other trader I follow who said something along the lines of like, they're the LeBron James of the stock market. So there's always this large expectation of they need to essentially do a super move, a super jump of an earnings report, something crazy, something sexy, in order for them to actually have a large move up or down. But that wasn't the case. It was something which was great. It was guided up really well. In my opinion, they crushed it, but the market was expecting something more. So we did see that consolidation. And at the same time, right now, as you can see, it was pretty much on the highs. We're pretty much in the high end region right now. And let me try something a little better here. Right there. As you can see, we're in this area right now. So we're already on the highs. And so the market itself, we're looking to take some profit and still keep the momentum going on the uptrend. And so that's essentially what took place. What I'm expecting from this, continuation up. I think it's going to take a break this week, relax for a little while, and then move on back up. This right here proves it. It had this incredible dip down and then push back up and then starts consolidation. So this is the price range we're seeing as the current value for Nvidia at that 176. Tomorrow we might see it push back up into that 181 towards 183 range, and if not, it might consolidate around this area or push back down a little bit to the low 170s. That's possible, but considering that the earnings were great, I believe that after this week, moving into next week specifically, there might be some more buys on Nvidia. Next, we have Salesforce, which raised guidance and popped higher after the bell. And then we had Pure Storage and Snowflake, which both exploded over 13% in extended trading. The cloud infrastructure thing is currently red hot right now. And this is setting up tomorrow perfectly. Will tech continue its run, or are we due for some more profit taking? If we look at Snow right now, Snowflake, went right up. Beautiful high. Looking at the 1 hour, last it hit it was here, 7th, the 7th of August is when we last saw it hit anything close to that, and it shot right through that. So right there, and now we're currently here. Is it going to consolidate down to this 222, 221, 222 level, or is it going to continue higher into that 229 level we've got right there? That's something that we might see. We might see tomorrow based on continuation from today's earnings. So keep a lookout for the cloud infrastructure and data centers assets for tomorrow and see how those move. Now, let's talk about what could move your money in the next 48 hours outside of these assets that we've looked at so far. Thursday, we have, which is tomorrow, we have the retail earnings. That's going to be Dollar General, Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Burlington stores. I saw in the options chain a couple weeks ago, that's crazy buy orders for Burlington on the upside, moving towards 300. It was like $300 calls expiring end of September. So that is something that is interesting and has piqued my interest personally speaking. But as you can see, it's currently at 277. So moving into the morning tomorrow, we shall be looking at Burlington and see how that goes with its earnings, and the same with Dollar General as well. We're going to see how that does tomorrow morning as well. And we have some economic data, I believe, to watch. We have the jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. and then the pending home sales at 10 a.m. as well. These are going to help navigate the market a little bit, but I think the big market movers in regards to economic data and outlook is going to be coming Friday. But the technical levels that I'm watching for the S&P, at least for me, are similar to yesterday, 6,500. I'm looking at 6,500 for some resistance. We're getting very close to that right now. We're at 6,490 now. So we're getting very close to that level. We might go ahead and burst past it. As you can see here, we really pretty much hit that and then rejected it. This is around the time that the Nvidia earnings were taking place. So even this chart, you can see this rejection right here looks like Nvidia. A complete rejection or a sell-off, more so, that took place at around that 6,500 though. So tomorrow we're going to be looking to see if we hit 6,500 again. We did get to that level a few times today. And the question is, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Or is there more for us to see before Friday comes in? Are we seeing some more? So 6,500 is going to be the zone that I'm going to be looking at. Let's go ahead and draw that here. So around here, we're going to be looking at 6,500. Beautiful, beautiful writing. And we're going to be looking for support at 64.50. 64.50. I'm going to see that right. Where do we have that? I'm really seeing a little bit, around right here, 64.55, 57 really, but we'll say 64.50 to just keep it clean. Yeah, 64.50 to keep it clean. So 6,500 for the higher bounds, and then for the lower end, we're going to be looking at 64.50 for support. That's going to be for the S&P. I don't normally look at the Nasdaq, but we do have 21,500, which might be support, and watching around 21,650 for, so for the Nasdaq, we might be looking around that area as well, but this is the NQ, which is the futures forward, which is what I normally look at. All right, for the NQ futures, we're going to see if that is something that is reflected, which is the around this high of 23,689 is what we had today. So around 23,700, breaking through that, or if we're going to have some support at 23,434. Now, Friday is going to be the big one, possibly. We have core PCE, and that's the Fed's favorite inflation measure. We have quarter two GDP's second estimate, and then we have the Chicago PMIs, all at 8:30 a.m. So get your time in at 8:30 a.m. If I were you, I would be avoiding making any moves. Watch for the reaction from the market on those, and then begin your plays. And on top of that, this is the weekly options expiration and month-end rebalancing. And those are all recipes for end-of-week volatility, which is where some good scalps and good money can be made. So keep your eyes on any development on Friday, and also still keep your ears to the ground on the situation with Lisa Cooks and the Fed independence issue. Is it going away, or isn't it? Is it staying? So after all that, here are your key takeaways. The markets hit new highs powered by energy, gaming, and AI stocks. We still have some political drama, which added noise but didn't derail the rally. Nvidia's monster earnings set the stage for tomorrow's action, with current consolidation taking place, but without an immense move that took place today. So we'll see how that affects tomorrow. Tomorrow's focus early will be on retail earnings, which would test the consumer strength story while we watch the technical levels for our next move. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you buying on MongoDB search? Do you think this market is getting overextended? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. And let me know if you'll be playing any of the assets we looked at today, whether it's MongoDB, whether it's continuation from Nvidia, whether it's going to be Dollar General or Burlington, and if we're going to be looking at any more moves that might be taking place from Kohl's. Take a look. Let me know your thoughts below, and also let me know what you might be looking at and what your reasoning might be to look at those assets, so we can also educate each other. If this breakdown helped you understand today's market action, please go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the ring notification as well, so that you can never miss our daily market updates. Thanks so much for tuning in to Traders Hub News. I'll see you tomorrow with another daily market update, and until then, trade smart and stay profitable. Let's go!